I will first introduce myself. My name is Beth White, and I am the Director of Graduate Enrollment in the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. I work broadly with our master's and PhD programs and our enrollment and our students in our programs. So really excited to see you all here today. We are going to be talking about the Biomedical Informatics Master's Program, and I have Professor Diane Schwartz here and Joe Vacanti from that program. So I'm going to turn it over to Diane so she can get us started. New this year, the Biomedical Informatics MS program has admissions entry options in both spring of 2025, which is the semester that starts in January, as well as in fall of 2025, which starts in August. I realize that many of you may be international students and, obviously it's a tight timeline for spring of 2025, but we feel like if you start the process quickly, you would have time to get the process done and get an I-20 in time for spring potentially. But if you want to wait and apply for fall of 2025, that is also an option.
Okay, so you know who I am? Let's go forward. So why study biomedical informatics? Biomedical informatics will teach you to manage data for better decision-making. What kind of data? Big data that includes human genomes, electronic health records, patient registries, and claims data that come from insurance companies. Why should a healthcare professional study biomedical informatics? Lots of challenges and interesting opportunities to learn how to collect, create, manage, integrate, and analyze and disseminate health and biomedical information and knowledge. Biomedical informaticians have a wide range of job responsibilities, including the knowledge of using health information technologies to generate, analyze, manage, and share biomedical and healthcare data, to collaborate across disciplines, to define, discuss, and resolve key issues in healthcare management, to implement, adapt, and validate existing informatics methods, and to solve specific biomedical and healthcare research and clinical problems. Bioinformatics careers offer the opportunity to work in the areas of healthcare transformation, precision medicine, biotech and big pharma companies, academic and medical research, and federal and state government agencies, using the US as kind of a model. Biomedical informatics careers frequently, but not always, require some training and an advanced clinical degree. Those kinds of jobs include Health Informatics Director, Chief Medical Information Officer, Chief Health Information Officer, Chief Medical Analytics and Informatics Officer, and Compliance Officer. Notice how many chiefs are involved? Let's take a minute to talk about the Department of Biomedical Informatics at UB. We're called Biomedical Informatics because we want to impress on our students the broad diversity and range of subject components to this study area. We offer undergraduate, bachelor's degrees, master's, and PhD degrees with specializations in 5 areas: clinical informatics and decision support, clinical population and public health informatics, socio-technical and human-centered design, biomedical ontology, and bioinformatics and translational research informatics. You study biomedical informatics to jumpstart your healthcare career, your IT career, your business career, your research career, and most importantly, your future. Your career in biomedical informatics enables you to blend the health sciences with the computational sciences so that you can solve complex biological system questions, develop high-end technical skills, and impact the future of healthcare, whether it's at the bedside, C-suite, or in the lab. And now I'm going to turn it over to Beth White, whom you met a moment ago, to talk about some of the background issues regarding attendance and applying.
My sort of area of expertise in all of this is the admissions and enrollment process. So as I said at the beginning, we are accepting applications now for both spring semester of 2025 and fall semester of 2025. And those would be intakes that start either in January of the next year of 25 or in August. So you can choose the admissions timeline that makes sense for you. I wanted to quickly, I will paste in the chat in a moment that link that will give you more information about the application process. But I also want to talk about cost of attendance because I know that probably a good number of you in this webinar today are international students. And I know that cost is certainly, for any student, an important consideration when you're thinking about pursuing an advanced degree. So what I have here is some basic information. The key expenses, of course, that you would be responsible for will be your tuition and fees for the program. And what I've listed here are at UB, because we are a public university, we have two different tuition rates. We have the non-resident rate, which would apply to anyone living outside of New York State. If you are a student living overseas, if you're an international student, or if you're a US citizen or permanent resident who is living in a state outside of New York in the US, you would pay the same tuition rate. Ranging from, and these are annual rates, so your rate would range from somewhere between $28,000 for a full academic year to slightly over $30,000. The range is there because probably as an international student, you would be at the higher end of that range. And if you are a domestic student from, say, Pennsylvania or another state in New York, you would be falling at the lower end of that range. If you're joining us as a student from New York State, you have the benefit of paying the lower in-state tuition rate for us since we are a public university, and that for the academic year is a little bit over $14,000 a year. So that's what you'd be looking at for tuition and fees. Again, international students, for purposes of getting an I-20, you also need to document that you have the funds to cover your living expenses while you're in the United States. And so that amount annually for 2025 is $52,900. That would be for the full package of your living expenses, meals, etc., while you're living in the US. So that is the amount that you would need to be able to document for purposes of I-20 preparation. We are offering some small partial tuition scholarships this year to highly qualified students that through the Welch Scholarship Fund, as listed here on the slide. Again, those are going to be small partial awards. And when I say small, it's not a lot of money. It would be probably in the neighborhood of maybe $1,000 to $2,000 to assist with your expenses. So again, if you are an international student, you would need to be positioned to have the funding at that $52,900 rate minus that small tuition discount that we might offer to you based on your promise in this field. So please do take a look at that, and then I'm happy to answer questions about the application process. But at this point, I know we have some alumni from the Biomedical Informatics MS program who are here to talk about their experiences in the program and offer tips.
Okay, Jack, I'd like you to speak next. Are you there?
Hi, Dan. I'm here.
I'm happy to introduce Dr. Jack Dawson. Jack graduated from our program in December of 2023 and is now working at Baylor Scott and White Health in Texas. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about his experience as a UB graduate student. Take it away, Jack.
Thanks, Dan. Hello, everyone. My name is Jack Dawson. I'm currently working as a research analyst at Baylor Scott and White Health here in Dallas, Texas. I work with the blood and marrow transplant BMT data management and analytics team here in BOMC Medical Center. So my background, I completed my bachelor's degree in dental surgery from Pondicherry University in 2021 from India. And I graduated from UB's master's program in biomedical informatics in 2024. And my interests lie within social determinants of health, oncology research, and outcomes analytics, which includes multivariate survival analytics. And my BMI program's major concentration was in public health informatics. And I worked on the capstone project using New York State OSS dataset. My project was an analysis of opioid use disorder rates in cancer patients who were prescribed opioids for cancer treatment. So the major reasons I chose the program and my takeaways from the program that anyone should choose this program are The first thing is the program, I feel it has a smaller cohort from compared to some other graduate programs in informatics in the US. A smaller size makes it easier for students to build rapport with faculty and build a personal connection and set up one-on-one times with the faculty to work on projects, I think, which is vital for a graduate program, especially in informatics. And the flexibility in course selection is a major point, I believe, because you can choose electives from other departments from UB. For example, I chose a coursework from UB's management school, which was a great experience. And also I chose a remote asynchronous course from the UB's public health department, which was awesome. Uh, and I believe the strong curriculum, the core courses have a boast a strong curriculum. And these focus on ever-changing American healthcare and informatics tools, and also building real-world projects. And also one of the best things I feel is grades are allotted for active classroom participation in most of the core courses. This encourages students to actively participate in discussions with the faculty and other students, and it makes an interactive session. And the hybrid and high flex learning model was great because I'm a big advocate for technology, and I appreciated how you have the option to hop into a Zoom class whenever you're not able to attend, due to a sickness or when you're out of town. And also the faculty uses, the hybrid model effectively, uh, in times when there is a guest speaker, and which was awesome. And the capstone project. So right from you start the program, it was right from the first semester, you have the option to choose, courses like BMI 510, where you could work with any faculty of your choice, and you can work on a group or individual project, and which is great. And you have the time throughout the course to work on a project, and what you could work on getting it published, which is which adds flair to your resume, which I think was great. So yeah, I've listed my email and my LinkedIn right here. Please feel free to shoot any questions if you have. I will be happy to help you out. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, let's go on to Sahiti. Sahiti, you don't have slides, so can you just pop in and talk about your experiences at UB?
Hi everyone, I am Sahiti. I am working as a regulatory affairs specialist here at University of Louisville for the School of Medicine. So I'd say this program helped me build a strong base in research and how the research is conducted and the methodologies. And I also found that there are many of my other friends who have graduated from other universities, but what is different with the University of Buffalo is that the faculty are super sweet. Like how Diane is, like she has been like a mentor to me, and I'd suggest if you are taking up this program, make good use of the faculty experience. And we've had an introductory, I think it's a 501 course. So many industry leaders were brought in to talk to us during class every week, and that was that helped as a great exposure for us to the field. And coming to the student life, you have many opportunities to work on campus part-time, and I worked in dining, physical fitness. There are also opportunities in library, which helps you to build a strong community for yourself because it's difficult navigating your life abroad by yourself. And coming to internship opportunities, I did my internship in Washington, D.C. at Childcare Aware of America. So I had my resume be reviewed by Diane, also which helped, which I'd say it really helped me uh, take a step further. So that's there, and the Career Design Center at UB. I suggest you to check it out. And Another important success factor, I'd say, is networking on LinkedIn. Try to connect to as many people in the industry as possible, build a strong connection with them, talk to them, try to learn from their experiences, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the final speaker today is Chandana Kava.
Okay, so hey all, I'm so happy firstly to be able to talk to all of you today and share my experience here at UB. So firstly, I'm Chandana Chava and have completed my master's in biomedical informatics and I'm from India. So we're going to do a quick run through and I'm just going to be talking about my experience at UB and what it has to offer you guys. So firstly, I'll be talking about why UB. So it has the accelerated STEM program where you can work in as a student for another 2 years after completion of your master's program. And they have a great teacher and student ratio. The student and teacher ratio here is like 12:1. So basically, I kind of like it how it bridges the gap. So you can be personal with your professors. And coming to the academics and university, everyone know UB has a lot of good reputation and UB is ranked number 25 in the US for hosting international students. And coming to our coursework, so I believe this program is mainly for people who are willing to develop their skills both in research and in data science, as in the context of healthcare. So there are a lot of career pathways you can fit into after the informatics career, whether it might be IT or data science or clinical research. So coming to our coursework, we are required to complete 36 credit hours, where 18 are for core courses and 6 for selectives and electives. So the best part here is you can, if you are willing to choose your future career in IT, you can like choose 6 select electives from computer science or data science or machine learning. And if you want to come into the research curriculum, you can just choose courses from public health, epidemiology, or if you're more oriented to be a project manager, or if you have any prior experience, you can just choose from MBA programs and all. We can just share you a detailed list of all our selective and elective courses after this presentation. And coming to my experience, I'm currently employed at University of South Florida in the neuromuscular division as a clinical research associate. And in my previous roles, I interned as a research coordinator for a product development company. And apart from all this, coming to the fun part, UB has so much to do. Like we have ISS trips going on, we have glow parties, we've been going to pumpkin farms, and Niagara Falls just 30 minutes away from the campus. And we have kayaking in the campus, and we just have like beautiful winters. I believe coming to the future of biomedical informatics, we have a lot of opportunities. Like there's a very good career path in healthcare and medical research in the industry, and there are a lot more of opportunities. So why did I choose UB is because of its beautiful campus first. It's one of the top 40th university, and we have more than 1,300 acres across all the 3 campuses, and there is always something new to explore at UB. And we have an amazing faculty who are like always ready to help you. And this program is mainly research oriented program, and you even have an IT related subjects, like they even taught us Python and also. And that's it. Thank you so much, guys. It was really great meeting you. And if you have any questions, you can just feel free to ask me. Or if you have any further doubts, you can always reach me out to my email or LinkedIn shown there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandana. Great presentations, all of you. Really appreciate your support. We're going to open up the floor to questions from you. What can we do to help you along your pathway to decide that UB is the place for you? Please.
Diane, I have a couple of students who messaged me directly, and I think these are good questions to answer in the group.
Okay,
So Kosi is asking that she has a degree in microbiology, and she's wondering what are the prerequisite courses she'd need to take to bring herself up to speed in bioinformatics. Can you talk about what kind of course preparation you look for in the application process?
Actually, we don't look for prior specific course background. One of our students graduated last December also, came with an advanced degree in microbiology from another country, And she did just great. And she's now working with one of our top young faculty members in a research lab doing teaching, organizing, a lot of the background kind of work she had learned, not only in informatics and applying it to microbiology, hematology, ontology setting, but a combination of the two, which we call translational science and medicine. So we don't recommend that you take any pre-courses with a goal of improving your chance of getting into UB. That's not the issue. The issue is totally different. What you bring to the table, we will work with, and we will help you utilize that to the best of your capabilities.
Well, thank you. So Deepti asked me in the chat, will there be any teaching assistantships offered for international students?
No, we do not offer teaching assistantships. We focus more on the individual, and so our classes are small. We're able to give a lot of attention to each one of our students, and the nature of the program just doesn't lend itself. It's not, a gigantic class of 500 students, not in graduate school. So that's just not available.
Another question is, and you may have sort of answered this a little bit already, but I want to know if software coding skills are required for the students to participate in the program.
We find that a lot of students who have coding skills really, in some courses, do have a little bit of a heads up, but it's not required. And many of the students who didn't have coding skills take a course just on their own to learn basic coding, which is very common. Jack, when you were learning coding, didn't you do a lot of that on your own?
Yes, Diane. Before joining the program, I took some courses on Coursera and edX on these platforms.
That's what I recall. And was that satisfactory? Did that work well for you?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. So you're not required, we really don't require any focused training before being admitted to the program.
Here's one in the chat. What makes someone a good candidate for this program? And then in parentheses, do you need to have any research background or data analysis skills?
Okay, again, you don't need research background. We'd like to start our program in the first year, the first semester. We will connect you with a faculty member who will serve as your research mentor. And the goal is to help you develop just fundamental research skills. You might work with me. I'm an information scientist by background. And one of the ways students get started, if they don't have a significant scientific background, is to work with me on developing a scoping review of the literature. It's a chance to learn literature searching skills. It's a chance to really fine-tune your writing skills. I know that Jack and Chandana and Sahiti will tell you about my being the teacher with the red pen going through your writing. I mean, that's a very strong focus of our department. We want our students to graduate with the ability to write in the American style so that they can fit right in to a job in the domain of their choice. So we keep things very wide open, but very little in the way of particularly focused background training.
This is a little related to a previous question, but someone asking, I know there was the question about teaching assistantships. There's also a question about graduate or research assistantships.
No, unfortunately, again, at the master's level, we do not have that opportunity to offer to our students. But as Sahiti mentioned, and I think most of the other students have all found jobs on campus, one of the restrictions is that if you're an international student, you must work on campus. You must take a minimum of 12 credit hours per semester. So you have a pretty busy time frame. And part of what you will do in developing research skills is to work as you start your program with a faculty mentor. And the scoping review is just one example. Some students start doing a data analysis project. The sky's the limit, really. And you have an opportunity to work with such a diverse group of faculty members. All of those 5 areas, those 5 domains of emphasis within our department are all available to you. And if you try one and you don't like it, you can move on to another one the next semester. So there is a great deal of specialized training that you have a chance to take with a very focused faculty member dedicated to working with you to enhance your experience. I see somebody's a pharmacy graduate and a registered pharmacist. Can I apply for the MS PhD programs? Well, I'm not sure what the MS PhD programs are. We like to start our students, especially the international students, with a master's degree. One of my dearest students who just finished his PhD in the spring came to the US, came to Buffalo. His goal was to do his graduate work at the University of Buffalo, came to Buffalo, and he had already completed a master's degree in public health. So his background clearly was focused on public health, but now he wanted to build expertise in informatics. And he was thinking about a PhD, but realized he needed to get familiar with the US educational system, get his feet wet, as we say, learning how to work in an American university. So he took his master's degree with us, then did so well, he was admitted to the PhD program with little challenge. Now, our training programs don't enable us to provide tuition, stipends, or salary to international students. So if there are other ways, if you are serious about getting your PhD, then we would refer you to the head of our PhD program, Dr. Werner Koisters, who would be able to counsel you on that part of the process. But I strongly urge you to think about starting with a master's degree program, really getting to be familiar with our programs, with our offerings, with our courses, and then decide how you want to proceed educationally. We have an outstanding school of pharmacy here at the University of Buffalo. And one of our graduates, he's about to finish his master's degree, was a PharmD student here at UB. So there are all sorts of ways that we can help you explore what's the best match and the best fit for your career goals. I hope that answered your question.
And, you know, it's interesting, Diane, how many of your previous students have come with clinical backgrounds, dentistry, pharmacy. So that's a very common pathway, I think, for your program in particular.
And what's very interesting is they do well in school because they have that familiarity with the healthcare and clinical environment. And one of our PharmD graduates, also from India, is now working at Washington University. And they're trying to talk her into going to pursue a PhD program with them. So I can't think of a better, nice affirmation of her accomplishments at UB. I mean, as soon as she got there and started working, they said, you need to do a PhD with us. And she was just thrilled. So I know that that process is underway for her, and it could be underway for you too.
Kelton is asking, Kelton is saying she has some research experience from her bachelor's degree. She had a biological sciences, he or she, I'm sorry, had a biological sciences degree. And they're asking, is it better for them to go into master's, or could they apply directly to the PhD if they have that experience?
Kelton, are you an international student? I don't see a photo.
Yes, they say yes.
Okay, then again, I would repeat what I just said. I think as an international student, you really get a heads up by focusing on your entry point being the master's degree. I saw the transition that took place with the student I was telling you about, who just got his PhD in May. And he's back in his home country, and he told me how grateful he was to have had the 2 years that he spent getting his master's degree. He acclimated to a US university, which he said was significantly different than his prior training in his own country. And then he was able to branch out and do specialized research coursework, mentoring research work with one of our faculty members while he was still a master's student, who ultimately became his major professor for his PhD. So he established the roots developed and fine-tuned his skill sets to enable him to really succeed. And we are all very proud of him. He was just such a hardworking student and turned out to be so successful. So we know that now that he's back in his own country, he's going to establish maybe someday a biomedical informatics program in his country. If not, we hope he'll send his students to us. So I would say, get that American university experience under your belt as a master's student. I think you will find that it will pay off in the long run.
Well, one thing I think you can see about Diane is that she is very supportive. She forms really great relationships with the students in the program. So I think that level of personal support certainly is a really nice feature of this program.
I have traveled extensively in my life, and one of my takeaways from my international travel experiences, I was very fortunate to have a Fulbright fellowship many years ago in India. And I spent time working at two institutions. One was the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi. And I did a research project there. And then I moved my project to Mumbai. And I did a project at the Cancer Research Institute in Parel. And I met some wonderful scientists who welcomed me, helped me, encouraged me. And it was that experience of knowing what it's like to be in another country where you don't know the rules, you don't know the roadmap, you don't know the traditions, and yet you want to succeed. And I felt that I was successful because of my hosts in those two places. So I try to give back. And by giving back, I think of my students as a very special cohort of people who have left their homes, left their families to come to Buffalo and try to be successful. And I feel that my job is to help you along that pathway. So I think my students will back me up and say that I can be tough, I can crack the whip, but I also set as my goal to make each and every one of you a successful biomedical informatician. That's the bottom line.
Well, I had one question, that is, as there is a matter of funding for the MS programs for the international students, like they have to have their self-funding for this program, and the PhD students, they may be eligible for the fundings and packages. So is there any way that I can know if my profile is better suited for the PhD program or the MS program before applying?
Well, I think I'll go back and restate my recommendation that as an international student, that you begin with the master's degree, because you get the grounding in what it's like to work in an American university. You learn the ropes. We call it the ropes. You learn what works, what doesn't work, how to interact with faculty. It's very different. American universities are very different than other international universities. What country are you from?
Dr. Dan, I am from Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Oh, okay. So I've never been to Bangladesh. I've been close, but not ever in Bangladesh. But I suspect that Bangladeshi universities are quite different than US universities. So what was your undergraduate background, Mohammed?
I completed my Bachelor of Pharmacy from
Okay.
North-South University, and also completed my Master of Pharmacy from North-South University in 2017. It was concentrated in pharmacology and clinical pharmacy. And after completing my master's degree, I joined a pharmaceutical company, and I have worked in the pharmaceutical sector for more than 5 years now. And currently, I am taking preparation for applying to universities abroad for higher studies.
Well, you have a wonderful background, the pharmacy background, the breadth and scope of your background would lend itself very nicely, but I will stand again on that recommendation that you begin with a master's program. It gives you the opportunity to explore, to really try to understand what fits best with your background, with your personal goals, with your professional goals. It's not quite as pressure-driven as the PhD program. There's a big difference between getting a master's degree and getting a PhD degree. And for an international student, I really do believe that the best way to get started is to get your master's degree first. That would be my staunch recommendation.
I have a question actually about that, Diane. So if a student does come and do the master's degree first, does that increase their chances of making connections to potentially get a funding package if they decide to stay on for a PhD?
Oh, I think it's possible. I mean, I would never put myself out there and say I can assure you of that. That would be foolish. But you establish a reputation, the faculty get to know you. Part of it is a question of where there's funding available. One of our junior faculty members just recruited a student from Iran. And she came with apparently a very good background, but he had some special kind of funding from a foundation that enabled him to recruit an international student. And I'm pretty sure she's a graduate student. I don't think she's a postdoctoral fellow, and fund her. So one never knows where the resources may come from or where they may be available. But we have established with our University School of Pharmacy a very good collaborative model. We offer pharmacy students the opportunity to take a dual degree. They add 1 year on to their PharmD program and get a master's degree in biomedical informatics. And we have one person who has been successful that I mentioned, and I'm hoping that another recruitment or two is going to work out. But I keep going there. I meet the students. I get to know them. They get to know me. I invite them to come to a class that I'm teaching. They see how our program operates. They see the interplay between people, the interplay between students, and how students learn from each other. The class that I teach now, this fall semester, has undergraduate students who are going to major in biomedical informatics and taking our intro course. We have master students who are just starting their master's program, PhD students who are just starting their PhD programs, and students from other departments around our huge university. So the diversity of people that you will have a chance to interact with has no boundaries. It's just fantastic experience. And when it first started to fall into place, because the undergraduate program is about the newest program of all, I was a little concerned. Will the undergraduates be uneasy about interacting with PhD students or students who already have an MD degree? So I talked to them about it. And they said, well, maybe at the beginning of the semester it was a little they were a little shy. Now they say, I like it. I learn from those more advanced individuals, people who have a broader background. One student was kind of on the fence. Do I want to study medicine after I graduate from college, or do I want to do research and pursue a PhD? And because there are 2 MDs in our class, he decided he's going to apply to medical school. And we're convinced that he seems like a very good student, that his exposure to biomedical informatics will greatly enhance his chances of getting into a US medical school, which, by the way, is not an easy goal to achieve. It's a very, very competitive process. So I think there are many advantages to starting out as a master's student, no matter what your background. Bringing that strong clinical or scientific expertise to the plate is very, very helpful, really helpful. Well, we're getting close To wrap up, any other questions before we complete our conversation?
Yes, I'll just add just to remind everyone, I've pasted the link in the chat for the website that would direct you kind of through the application process and get you started. Again, if you're thinking about applying for the January intake, which our spring semester starts in late January, I would encourage you to start that process as soon as possible, especially if you're an international student, just to give yourself enough time to get your I-20 and apply for your visa before the spring semester begins. And even if you are thinking about applying for the fall 2025 semester that starts in August, starting early is always good, particularly for those of you who are international students, just to give yourselves lots of time to navigate that additional layer of getting the visa, the F1 visa to study in the US. So I would encourage you to give yourself lots of lead time. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Joe Vacanti he is the application coordinator for Biomedical Informatics, and he was here, he had to hop off, but he's your main point of contact about the application process. I also am always happy to answer questions of students.
And please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to answer questions. Kelton, yes, please do speak.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kelton. I just got recently my bachelor's in biological sciences, and I have one specific question. So while browsing on websites, get information about the programs, so I just got a little bit confused about the English proficiency test. So which is for example, TOEFL test, Duolingo test, IELTS test. So many programs have different requirements, right? So Duolingo test is accepted by all programs or not? Or
Yeah.
just by some programs or none of them?
It's accepted by our program. I can't speak for other programs, but it's certainly accepted at the University of Buffalo. And we have had a very good, very positive relationship with the professional staff at Duolingo. So I have the utmost faith in their the quality of their examination and their ability to handle processing and completion of their testing. So any one of those, TOEFL, Duolingo, or IELTS are all acceptable at the University of Buffalo. So whatever is for you.
Yeah, and as well, there are some other options as well. I just pasted a link in the chat that lists all of the English proficiency tests that UB accepts and the scores that are required. So do take a look at that. Duolingo obviously would be a efficient process because that's an online test. So you could probably get those scores to us a little bit more quickly.
Right, and if you're thinking about applying for admission in January, then that might be the way to go because you do want to keep things moving quickly. We will work with you, and international admissions will work with you to make sure that everything gets done in a timely manner. But the more you can expedite, shall we say, probably the better it will be. Other last minute questions? Well, you know how to reach us. Please don't hesitate to reach out, to contact me, to contact Beth, contact the students as well, because we're all here eager and willing to facilitate the process for you. And if you're thinking about starting in the spring semester, which is the last week in January, don't delay. Get the process underway ASAP, as soon as possible. You'll hear that term a lot when you come to the US.
Yeah, we like that one. We like, and we like to do things quickly in our culture. So, but it's been great meeting you all today. I hope this was informative. We did record this, and we'll share that recording with you by email after today's webinar. So, but do keep in touch if you have any questions about the process. And we wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much today.
Hope we'll see some of you in Buffalo in time for our beautiful Buffalo winters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Join us in January.